Many blessings, everyone. Greetings to you today. My name is Verdelus. I'm a Shamanic astrologer and human design coach, and I wanted to share a few things with you this week about this very powerful Sun, Pluto, Uranus configuration in the sky, and put it in light of some teachings on karma from the Buddhist tradition, as well as these two hexagrams or gates in human design, hexagrams of the I Ching. Um, we are following the sun's movement this week as it moves from one hexagram to another. And it's interesting because the hexagrams we're involved here are working on what has been spoiled or improving and moving into the hexagram of the well. And this will take place on the new moon, Friday, when this shift occurs. We'll see this movement into this new hexagram. And so this new moon energy will be all about what we work on this week. So it's really, I've been watching it, and maybe I'm curious to know if some other people out there have watched some more irritability rise to the surface in the last few days or in this last week. This is really typical, and we've seen this every time the Uranus-Pluto square gets triggered in the sky. So that happens every time a planet moves into the signs of Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, or Aries, the cardinal signs of the zodiac. You know, we have Uranus in Aries right now, Pluto in Capricorn, and these are these behemoth energies, these big, giant energies that are inviting us to really allow the unconscious to rise up to the surface, to be transmuted, to be transformed. But that process can be real irritating as the shadow rises. And we can watch this week in particular as the sun triggers this square, because the sun is at the 7th, 8th, 9th degree of Libra, 10th degree of Libra this week. We're seeing that what rises up to the surface may be something that may be stored in the deep parts of our soul memory. In Buddhism, they talk about store consciousness, that there's a place where all of the seeds from our previous actions, our karma, the word karma means actions, they're all stored in this store consciousness. And what can happen during the time when this Pluto energy is touched in our lives is that there can be this collective feeling of irritation, of aggravation that can rise to the surface. And often we see reflected aspects of ourselves that we don't necessarily like, or other people don't necessarily like. And what can happen here is we can have a real reinvention or an innovative approach to what has come before. This is Uranus squaring Pluto in the sky, and part of this T-square with the sun right now. This can be an epiphany, this rising of something uncomfortable, irritable from our store consciousness, a pattern that we're trying to evolve and move into a higher level of consciousness. In the I Ching this week with the sun's position, it's fascinating because it's in the hexagram we call work on what has been spoiled. Another name for this used in human design is the gate of improvement. Well, let me read you this passage from the Tao Oracle, really great oracular book and set of cards around this hexagram. First of all, the core concept here is that all of our mistakes and difficulties are our primary learning opportunities. The first place to look is within yourself, without denial or embellishment, to see what part you have played in creating the current degeneration. It is of utmost importance that you take the time and care to identify any unhealthy habits in your own thinking that have contributed to the downward spiral, because unless this work is done first, nothing else can change. By correcting any tendencies to make assumptions, postpone things, or pretend indifference, you begin to restore the balance. So this is stressing, this hexagram is stressing that it's all about our inner work right now. And that during this week, we may discover some inadequacies within ourselves, some limitations within ourselves. We may get down on ourselves about it, or we may get down on our partners, the people closest to us, because the sun is in Libra. So the relationship realm can be the battleground, or a field where this unconscious, or where what previous karma, it may rise within the context of our connections with others. Now, the other thing that can happen this week is the moon is balsamic. So if you watch this cycle before the new moon, it gets real tough to make things happen out in the world. We can get really easily frustrated because the energy is actually, again, like this hexagram states, very internal. It's about going within and working on clarifying, clearing out. So actually, the balsamic phases of the month are even on their own more karmic. So we're looking at this primary theme of, where are we empowered? We're empowered in the now. So in the moment, we can look back and say, where have I made a mistake along the way? And a mistake in the sense of I haven't seen the full picture. I've been in overly dualistic consciousness. This sense of this is positive, this is negative, instead of being with what Buddhists call that state of suchness, is as it is, right? And from this state of the now is where we get empowered to affect our future karma, right? So we have this ability to first work with what has been, like this hexagram is saying, and we improve upon it by moving into a state of, okay, what seeds am I planting now? Because again, I'm feeding that seed consciousness, and the effects of that will come later on, and I will be reaping what I sow now. And this is interesting because the new moon on Friday moves into this gate, this hexagram we call the well. And the well, we go deep within ourselves, deep into the inner recesses of our consciousness with this. And there is this really powerful line here about diving deep with this hexagram. The journey towards self-knowledge requires that we willingly enter the darkness of uncertainty. Becoming more aware has its own timing, profound in its perfection, that has nothing to do with our personal preferences. And this symbol of the well is all about renewing ourselves, regenerating ourselves. And this is that ability to see clearly the reflection through our relationships, through the people that are in our sphere that are helping us see these patterns, these seeds that have come before, and now we can say, okay, what new seeds do I want to water now? The well. What am I bringing up from the well and nourishing from these days forward? This is the value of working with spiritual teachers, with mentors, with guides to help reflect these patterns within us. These patterns we're improving this week, and then we're going to take this well of consciousness, of evolution rising from within us during this Uranus-Pluto square impacted by the sun, and we're going to evolve and move forward. This is again the value of studying these patterns with languages like astrology and human design and these systems that help us get that objective perspective and see deeper into the patterns inside of us that can be improved, and the well of ability, of consciousness, of potential that is just surging from within ourselves. So I hope that helps you with planning out this new moon in Libra this Friday. You may go really deep on this journey, that you want to seek breakthrough, even amidst some possible breakdown, because what's being broken down is no longer serving us individually or collectively. We're getting right to the essential core, and we're rising into this more awakened and enlightened state of being. So thanks for checking this video out, and stay tuned for some new teleclasses. I'm teaching authentic relating next week with human design, astrology, and Tantra. That's the week of October 10th, 9th, 2013. And more to come. So thanks for being on this call. Visit me at soulalchemyastrology.com.